you kind of see it coming, but like you don't want it to, so it still hits you.
Welcome to Big Eye Rewind. This is Jane the Brain.
And Ash Maker.
And today we're talking about the 2001 Baz Luhrmann movie. I guess maybe I should say the 2001 Baz Luhrmann musical, Moulin Rouge.
It has a little bit of everything, you know, it has comedy, it has romance and tragedy.
Stars Nicole Kidman, Ewan McGregor. It was made for $50 million, and in its initial release, it grossed $179.2 million.
That's pretty good.
Oh, it's pretty good. It also was nominated for a hell of a lot of Academy Awards. It won a couple of them. I mean, it's one of those films that I think has kind of gone by the wayside and shouldn't have.
I agree. I haven't seen many like musical type movies, but one thing that I stood out to me from this movie was how well it does at presenting itself as a play. Like if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I could be watching a musical right now.
Yeah, but I do want to like clarify too, because it's not, I do love a musical. I do attend theater if and when I actually save up enough to do so. But this is kind of different than, you know, it's not a Les Mis or like a Cats or a Wicked or anything like that. It's very different. It is a movie with a lot of music that does apply to the plot and does move the plot along, but the movie could exist without the music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, it's almost like a movie enhanced by music.
Which is what you would want in a musical, honestly. Like, the movie could stand on its own without it, but the music just enhances that experience and gets you more involved.
So back in the day, huge studios used to just, like, pump out musicals because they were, like, cheap and easy, and which seems crazy nowadays. But they were cheap and easy, and they got butts in the seats, so they'd produce a lot of them. And a lot of them just didn't really have much of a plot or had a very, very loose plot. And then they would pack in the musical numbers. Mm. And the musical numbers might have something to do with the plot, but a lot of the times they were just musical numbers. And so it was just like a fun, good time. And I think on a lot of levels, especially in the movie side of things, musicals still have that reputation of just being like slightly narrative, like think more like a narrative album than like an actual movie with a bunch of music helping to move along the plot. However, I don't know exactly when the year was. I think it was around the 50s was when the big change came, where there started to be philosophies in the musical world that the music in musicals should actually be
integral to the plot.
Yeah, integral to the plot. Intertwined with the plot. Mm. And move the plot along, so that it shouldn't just be music over here, story over here. Hopefully they combine in a way that audiences resonate with. Instead it became music, movie, musical, all of it's all together.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I do think you're right though, that they still have that reputation of like being like musicals are like below just a regular movie, you know, in terms of like how respected it is.
I would absolutely agree with that. Moulin Rouge is a movie that's just enhanced by the music. I think a great example of like being able to adapt, even though we're not talking about it this one and I'm praying that you've seen it, is Chicago.
No, I haven't seen it.
The musical or the movie?
Neither, no. I've definitely heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Don't get me wrong, it has more plot than I think a lot of musicals do. But the way that they adapt it, you really could have taken out the music. I mean, the music does enhance it, so it kind of would have made the movie a little less great if you would have taken out the music. But you could have taken out the music and still had a cohesive movie. Mm-hmm. And that's what was great about it. Like the acting and the singing and the choreography and everything. It enhanced the movie of it. And that's what Moulin Rouge does, except it's not based on a musical. There's now a Broadway musical based on it. Mm-hmm. but it was a movie first, and it's made by a movie director, and it's just so like, this is how you do a musical on the big screen.
So you think if you took those things away from Wicked, it just wouldn't even be a movie?
It wouldn't be anything. Like, it barely holds together right now. Yeah, so if you took away all of the music and choreography and everything from Wicked, it's not even that, like, oh, well, you'd have, like, a less good movie. You wouldn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You'd have, like, a bastardized version of The Wizard of Oz that nobody understands even a little bit. Anyway, though, back to Moulin Rouge. When we were first recording, we tried to offer a synopsis here, but it proved to be a little unsatisfactory, so allow me to offer a more complete synopsis now. Moulin Rouge opens with Christian, our main character and narrator. Suddenly, the opening lines come to him and we're ushered into a flashback starting our story. Christian begins his tale with his first day in a new city. He is a struggling writer that was lured to Paris by the romance of the city in the time. While settling in, his roof caves in and he's unexpectedly surrounded by a group of bohemians working on a new play. Toulouse is immediately impressed, which angers their current writer, and they storm off, leaving Christian with a new job opportunity. Christian and the bohemians go out on the town and celebrate their new friendship, and the bohemians form a plan. They'll take Christian to the Moulin Rouge and introduce him to Satine, the Rouge's headliner. That night, the bohemians take Christian to the theater and tell him that they've arranged a special meeting between him and Satine. In reality, they've done no such thing. In a comedy of errors, Harold Ziegler, the Moulin Rouge's owner and Satine's boss, had arranged a special meeting between Satine and a potential investor known only as the Duke. During her performance, Satine mistakes Christian for the Duke and invites him to her bedroom. In her bedroom, Christian tries to seduce Satine using words, so she'd help fund the Bohemians' play. At the same time, still thinking Christian's the Duke, Satine tries to seduce him with the hopes of escaping her life. Christian succeeds in making Satine fall in love with him, but Satine must quickly suppress her feelings when she learns Christian isn't the Duke. The real Duke barges into Satine's room, expecting to be seduced. Quickly, the Duke senses something's off and thinks Satine's toying with his emotions. Thinking quickly, Satine uses Christian's same romantic words on the Duke and he falls in love with her. She makes an excuse and manages to get him out of the room. By chance, the Duke re-enters the room to find Satine passed out in Christian's arms. She regains consciousness and tries to reassure the Duke that their interaction was completely innocent, but the Duke isn't convinced. The Bohemians seize this opportunity to come into the bedroom and pitch their new play. Satine goes along with their excuse and agrees with the Bohemians that this meeting is just an emergency rehearsal. Upon hearing all the commotion, Ziegler also enters the room and jumps on the rehearsal line. The Bohemians, Ziegler, Christian, and Satine all band together to sell the Duke a spectacular show. The Duke is sold on the play, and everyone leaves happy. Later that night, Christian sees Satine from his window. He sneaks over to her bedroom. When he arrives, he begs Satine for one night of romance, but she declines because he can't afford it. Eventually, she gives in, and they begin something more than a one-night stand. The next morning, Ziegler has a meeting with the Duke. The Duke has agreed to fund everything, but in return, he wants exclusive access to Satine, and he expects Ziegler to put up the Moulin Rouge as collateral. Reluctantly, Ziegler agrees. The next scene is a huge montage where we see the theater is being renovated for a new show and the play is progressing. Satine and Christian are enjoying their honeymoon phase and they're falling in love while the Duke is being blocked and deceived at every turn. As things progress, the couple becomes more reckless, until finally, one day, the Duke catches on. This time, the Duke needs more than words to be convinced. He reminds Ziegler of their deal and demands that Satine meet with him that night. Ziegler agrees and confronts Satine about her reckless behavior. While she's gone, Christian becomes extremely jealous and spirals thinking about Satine with him. At the same time, Satine can't keep up the charade while with the Duke, and it angers him until he gets violent, and she manages to knock him out and run off. She runs back to Christian and tells him about her blunder. He's thrilled and says that they can run away together. She returns to the Moulin Rouge to collect her things. While preparing for her escape, she meets up with Ziegler and tells him that she's planning to run away with Christian because they're in love. But Ziegler tells her that she's dying. He tells her that if she runs back to Christian, the Duke will kill him and take the Moulin Rouge. Ziegler convinces her that the right thing to do would be to break up with Christian and convince him that she never loved him. Satine is heartbroken, but agrees it's for the best. She goes to Christian and breaks up with him unconvincingly. That night, he goes to the show, determined to confront Satine. He sneaks into the performance, still angry and confused, and throws money at Satine, determined to have the last word on their relationship. Satine can't let him go, thinking their relationship was nothing, so she sings their secret song, and suddenly, Christian understands that her actions weren't true. After seeing their act of love, the Duke tries to kill Christian, but he's stopped, and the couple has their grand romantic moment at the end of the play. The curtain closes, and Christian is elated that true love has really triumphed over money and status, but Satine is exhausted, and she collapses. Satine can't recover and dies in his arms. Christian screams silently as we flash forward to the present, and our story draws to a close. It's absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant storytelling. The way that he incorporates music and lets it do a lot of the heavy lifting, as far as like the emotion and the plot and the everything. It really is like, this is what you want from a musical. This is what you want from like a romantic drama. Like it's so fun. It's so fun. He does such a great job with it. I completely understand why this was nominated, I think, for 8 Academy Awards, and it won 2 for production and costume.
Huh?
Yeah, best production and best
I
costume.
can see costumes for sure. The costumes in this, even for just very short scenes, everybody's wearing very elaborate, very beautiful costumes.
And they do this amazing thing where they really have a specific aesthetic, like have a very specific look for every single character. And it's not like they wear the exact same thing every time. They just, like, this character is real, and it'll be a small background character, maybe a dancer that's in multiple numbers, and it's like, oh, she always wears fanned out skirts, or she always wears frills, or she always has this really dark eye makeup, or she wears these heels that we always see. It's things like just these little things, and they change.
Even on characters that doesn't seem that they're that important, they still have things that are consistent throughout the movie. Like I've been noticing that there's like a group of bald people who are always just like together for some reason. I think they're like the musicians in this, but it's a small detail that like you see one, you're gonna see all of them. It's fun.
Well, and for the Bohemians, they almost all have like some kind of flower or like quilt style pattern on their stuff, and almost nobody else does. And they're in these like washed out grayish tones. A lot of the dancers are always in these bolder, brighter tones, like these jewel tones. It's like little things like that just, it helps to make those characters more real and the world more real. Although there are shots of the large elephant scene set that look not very real, little fake.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed is that, like, from the outside, the elephant definitely looks smaller. Like, when you're in the elephant, it just looks like a normal room and multiple parts to that room. So, and then when you see it from the outside, it kind of takes you out of it. It's like, how are all those people in there?
Yeah, and also it should be, you shouldn't be able to fit that much furniture in that small of a space. But movie magic.
Forgive it because it's so good.
Yeah, and the set is just, the set's beautiful, and the way that they use it is beautiful. I absolutely understand why they won for production. It's just so rich and pretty, and it's set in this old world Bohemia, and you're like sucked into it and enchanted by it. And then they accompany that with mixes of popular songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s in these weird, cut up, repasted back together, unbelievably sampled versions that are perfect for the scene. And then they have this coloring and these camera angles that it's just, it brings everything together. Everything's so grand. Like, the story is so grand. The sets are so grand. The acting is so grand. It's just like, what a freaking experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I think especially for like that opening part where they're first introducing the Moulin Rouge, that has so many songs mixed in together, and like you have to rewatch it a couple times to even try and figure out which songs it is. It makes it very fun and rewatchable.
Exactly. Thank you so much for bringing it up. I think I've now forced you to watch to watch this film probably like 3 or 4 times at this point.
Yeah, I think this is...
And it's not a short film, but it is so captivating.
I agree. I think this is probably like my 5th time watching it, and each time you get something different out of it, or you focus on something else, or you notice something that you didn't before, because there's just so much to look at.
Well, it's such like a real world that like, and I think the first time, maybe even couple times, you're so focused on like the story and the music and the drama and emotion between all of the characters that you don't really realize. Like, you kind of get a sense of how rich the world is because the characters are in it and the story's in it, but you don't really notice it. It's like not, it's just the world of the story, you know? But when by like your 4th or 5th time, you're really starting to pick out the songs of like, ooh, this is where that song is from, or ooh, this is where that melody is from, and you're really starting to notice all of the background details of the world and the costumes. And I think by the 5th or 6th time is when you're really getting the light colors and the different camera angles and the cuts and it takes that long to really appreciate all of just the work, because everybody that worked on this is genuinely like a master of their craft, like so good.
There's chaotic scenes in this too, where, I mean, a lot of the chaos is done by like the way that the cuts are being made, and it just kind of like discombobulates you, but you can still tell everything that's going on at the same time.
I'd push back on that and say probably it's the cuts and the camera, because like a lot of it is that like crazy panning around a crowd,
yeah,
but then maybe they like slow it down and cut to different parts of the crowd, or cut to different color schemes with that. And it's so incredible. And what's great too is like the music and the acting and the story is so engaging that you can watch it again and again and it stays engaging.
There's even some parts where like the footage is sped up and it doesn't feel off-putting. It feels
natural.
At home.
Yeah. Well, and there are, because like so many times directors will use that like spinny camera technique, and I'll get sick by it, where either the camera is in a fixed point in like a circle and it just keeps spinning around to show you the contents of like a room or a scene, or alternately it's kind of on like a track outside of a fixed point and it keeps circling around a fixed point, so you see one thing from multiple angles. I find either of those kinds of shots kind of sickening. Like it's very easy for me to like get discombobulated and get dizzy. This film uses those kinds of shots so often, and they're so natural, and so it's like that's the shot you would want for that scene. So it doesn't feel sickening or anything. It's just like, that's how that story is supposed to be shot and told.
Even though like the movie's really captivating and stuff, I do think there's issues with it as well. I think one of the things that I kind of had to look past was the fact that the Duke didn't know from the get-go, like from the beginning, what was going on, you know? He does eventually find out, but even still, he had to be told kind of what was going on.
I don't know, because I think on some level, because him not getting it, I think I can easily look past it because kind of his character. He has this scene with Ziedler, who's like the head of the Mulan Rouge. He's the showrunner. The Duke kind of goes to Ziedler and essentially tells him, like, I will fund your project, I'll do whatever, but like, just so we all know, I'm essentially paying for Satine. Like, she will be mine, and I don't like people messing with my stuff. And so I think after that, it's kind of one of those, I don't care about her affections, I don't care if she likes me or not, like, I paid for her, she's mine. So she can do whatever she wants to do, and maybe that's her, like, being unhappy about it, is like, oh, I'm finding excuses to not spend time with you, and he's like, that's nice, I still own you, so you can do whatever you want, you can feel whatever way you want about it. So I could see why he would want to be duped, and maybe like he's being charming to her because he understands like, oh, she doesn't like me. So like that one I can kind of look past. It's everything else, him falling for her so quickly, you know, and maybe it's because she's beautiful, but then I need him to say that a little bit more. It's like, oh, she's gorgeous, I want her, you know?
Would you say you have a favorite character in the film?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just so charming. I like all of it. I like all of it so much.
I think for me, it's not even the main characters. It's between the Duke
As
Ziegler, and maybe even Toulouse. I really like him too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all the supporting characters, like the main 3 supporting characters.
They're so fun. Yeah. I think for Toulouse is because in the movie he plays a magical sitar, and it's just so funny, and he's always like, I always speak the truth, and that just gets stuck in my head. And
So just
charming.
just a side note. So Toulouse is played by John Leguizamo, and I just have to say, Baz Luhrmann knows how to get just the best performance out of John Leguizamo. Like the roles, the characters that I associate with him with.
Mhm.
Because you know how you do that, like in your head, where you're like, oh, Nicole Kidman, and you think of her as a specific whatever.
Yeah.
Like you have something in your head, and it might be hard to go back and tease it out of like, oh, it's her as Satine in Mulan Rouge. That's what I remember her as. Actually, for her, like the first one that always comes to mind is her as Tom Cruise's wife in Eyes Wide Shut. Like that's the image that I have of her. She's like sexy. She's like blonde in that movie and has these glasses on. She's great. Well, I see her more as a blonde than a redhead, but I love her in this movie. But John Leguizamo, I almost always go to his role as Tybalt, Prince of Cats, in Romeo and Juliet, which is a Baz Luhrmann film as well. I don't think he gets used to his fullest acting ability by anyone really other than Baz Luhrmann, and this movie is one of the ones that is just like, ooh, this is a great role for him.
Mm-hmm.
He is very memorable. There are points where he steals the show.
Oh, also, as far as issues go, one of the side characters that I didn't like was the narcoleptic Argentinian. Like, if in general, I do like him. It seems like him being narcoleptic doesn't really add much to anything other than when it's convenient.
Yeah, I think all of them, it's fun because you can put some kind of like fun, quirky title on them, but it's not the fun, quirky title that really gives them the quirk. It's how the actor played that character.
I think a lot of people are gonna be like, if you actually go and watch this, like you're gonna be sobbing by the end of it.
I was.
Personally, I kind of saw it coming because we had discussed the film a little bit beforehand, so that might have spoiled it a little for me. But it was still awesome. Like I still got like a teary eye, you know.
Part of me is like, how dare you not be teary-eyed? Because like I think he gets me every time. It really does. Like it doesn't get me to cry every time, but it does get me in the feels every time where I'm like, no, it's such an epic tragedy and it's so good.
You're just like, no, true love is supposed to prevail.
A little bit, I don't know. Okay, so what makes the film so good is the tragic ending. Okay, I think this is what it is. He gives you the sweet ending. Because love does prevail, and you're like, yay! And then immediately takes it away from you. And you're like, you bastard, Luhrmann!
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes the film just so good, because you get both. I don't know, the more that I'm thinking about it, the more it's one of those, like, I love films that can take you through the whole array of emotions. And this one really does.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it gets you over the moon, you're on cloud 9 with them, you're like, woo, like, reaching for the stars, like, you know, pumping the sky with your fist, that kind of thing. And then, you know, less than an hour later, 30 minutes later, you're like crying, saddest you've ever been, life is so unfair, how could the world be so cruel? And there are literal like laughs in the middle of that. This is so good. You did the whole thing. It's a rainbow of emotions that you're just riding on. It's so good.
So they went above and beyond for sure.
Oh, for sure. It is totally worth a watch. And now it's a Broadway musical as well, and man, I'm going to have to save up and check that out one day, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't stop playing before I get a chance. I'm like, ooh, how much are tickets to New York? And then tickets to Broadway. And then also a hotel. Like, oh my goodness.
An arm and a leg.
Okay, so like what, 5-10 years? Pipe dream? So like, if you couldn't tell, we would definitely highly recommend this film.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it before, you're missing out, I think.
And so that's been Big Eye Rewind. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully catch us next time. This is Jane the Brain.
And Ash Maker.
Signing off.